Okay, you will come to know the scopes. How, if I declare a variable in a declaration tag that is accessible in the whole class or whole JSP page. If I declare a variable in a scriptlet tag that is accessible within the underscore JSP service method. Okay. Similarly, means what I mean to say, what are the things I do create in a particular tags or particular syntaxes where I can able to access what are the accessibility of that variables that indicates the scope. Next is implicit objects. What implicit object is? Last time we used out, request, response. Did we? Okay. Why used request, response? So what these are actually? These are the implicit objects, and only they are provided by the Servlet and JSP container. But where do they come from? Actually येतात कुठून actually. So here whenever you use object call, take an example, if you are using request.get parameter, the way you did the work in the servlet request.get parameter, and you are trying to get the request parameter, request.get parameter, maybe name, maybe number, maybe username, maybe password, right? Right? Similarly here also I can able to get those parameters, so I need to take the help of request or implicit object. Okay, I wish to send the response. Okay, so I should call response. Till today you have worked with the outer, right? So out is the implicit object, but it is the object supplied by the JSP container. Okay, and it is the object of a JSP writer. It is the object of a JSP writer. If you use the request object, okay, if you use page, if you use session, okay, if you use config, context, these all are the implicit object. A few days back we learned about 9 implicit objects. Just I listed out. Now I'm giving all the information about all those objects, right? So when you call a request object, so what do you think? It is only just a request implicit object. Who is responsible to provide that object? Okay, your answer may be, sir, JSP container is responsible to provide that implicit object. But where is it coming from? It should have the class now. If it is object, it should have some class, right? Right? So it is the object of a HttpServlet request. It is an object of a HttpServlet request. Again, the question may raise in your mind, sir, HttpServlet request is an abstract class. How do you create the object of an abstract class, right? So we cannot create the object of an abstract class directly, but we can create a indirectly. How? One of its extended concrete subclass, right? Right. So if you take an example, request object means it is the object of underlying container supplied Java class that sorry, HTTP solid request is an interface. I made mistake. I was thinking about HTTP solid only. HTTP solid request. HTTP solid request is an interface. So one of its implemented, one of HTTP solid request implemented one of its concrete subclass. In the solid explanation, we learned about how to get the object of that class. The way we did in the JDBC, similarly, we also did an experiment. Okay, that how to get the object of a request, how to get the object of a response. Did we? Yes. Request facade, response facade in Tomcat. Have you heard the names? I hope you might have seen shown the names on the browser window. Is it true? Huh? So similarly, out is the object of underlying container supplied Java class that extend JSP writer abstract class. Okay. So like this, we shall see request, response, JSP writer, session. Session is the object of HTTP session. HTTP session is also an interface. Again, in question may generate in your mind that all are interface and abstract classes. How the objects are creating. It is not the responsibility of a JSP specification of creating all those objects. JSP specifications are given in a javax.servlet, okay, or Jakarta.servlet. Jakarta.servlet or javax.servlet. If you are using Tomcat 9, okay, or Java double specification up to 5, right? You are going to work with the Tomcat 9, and Tomcat 9 will work on javax.servlet. But if you are working on Tomcat 10 and Java double 6, 6 or 8, 8, sorry, 8, Java double 8, okay, then you can able to work with the Jakarta.servlet, revealing all the classes, interfaces, enumerations, what is the present in the packages, all are same, right? Understood? So these information we shall see today, additional information about JSP implicit objects and their scopes. So let me add the note point for information. What are the things I told to you just now? I'll give the notes point to you, just note it down all one by one. So all the implicit objects are the objects of underlying container supplied, underlying servlet container supplied, servlet container and JSP container supplied Java classes implementing 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 extending okay extending implementing and extending various interfaces various interfaces and abstract classes of Servlet and JSP API. So here is Servlet and JSP API means what? javax.servlet, javax.servlet.star, right? Or if you are using latest Tomcat 10, so Jakarta.star, right? Sorry, Jakarta.servlet.star. Clear? Fine. So if I add the example for your understanding 6, maybe one of the example on the request. Let me give the explanation on the request. Just now, what is the information I give? And one example on outer. So you can give the same example for session, page. Okay, session, page, solid context, even object. Object is also implicit object. Huh? Okay. So request. So what is the meaning of request object? So let me add the single code. So request object means it is the object of underlying container supplied Java class that implements HTTP Servlet request interface. So what is the name of a class that implements HTTP Servlet request packet? Okay. So I'll add the name in Tomcat. Already we learned in the Tomcat itself. So in Tomcat server, this class name is so let me actually open so that we will get the proof. Actually, I did not open, but last time also already showed. So by this object foundation Tomcat web apps, not web apps, lib solid API, search for solid API, open this by using open with the WinRAR Jakarta.servlet no, not Jakarta, one of its implemented class now. So Jasper and Catalina. Okay, here I will show first that Jakarta dot HTTP Servlet request. So this is an interface. This is an interface, right? Yeah. So now let me open the Catalina. Open with the org dot apache dot Catalina dot connector dot request packet. Can you find anywhere? Okay, wherever you find dollar symbol, so treat those are the inner classes. Okay. So this is the class. Okay. This is the class. Similarly, you can go with the response. You can try for all. Okay, session, request, response, out. You can try for all by using get class method. by using get class method. Already we tried now. Okay, in JDBC also we tried, in Servlet also same, and JSP also you can try the same. So request is the object of, and the class name is org dot apache dot catalina dot connector dot request packet. Even you can, if you're not happy with this answer, okay, write the scriptlet tag, out.println request object, okay, request Tomcat.servlet request object class name is, okay, request dot get class. Are you getting? So if you call request dot get class, you will get this name, request packet. Similarly, you can try for response packet. So let me go with one more example similar to requester page down. I'll go the same like home out. So let me add the out object information. Out object means it is the object of underlying container supplied, underlying container supplied Java class that extends from JSP writer. Abstract class. So let me add that name in Tomcat server. This class name is org.apache.catalina. Instead of Catalina, let me go with the Jasper. Let me search in the same package better. org.apache. Oh, let me close this one. Let me close this also. I need to open the Jasper APIs. Where is my Jasper container? Here is my Jasper. So open with the WinRAR org.apache.jasper. Now if you can runtime, and here you can search JSP writer implementation class somewhere. JSP. Can you see here, guys? So this is the concrete class. This is the concrete class. Fine. So org.apache.jasper.runtime.jsp writer impl. Okay, impl. And note point: those who have not tried about get class till today, okay, at least try today. So I'll add a note for your information. You know the class name of any, in the case of any JSP implicit object call which method? Get class method. Okay, on that object. Now I'll get a table, small table, so you'll get the idea. Okay, so one side we can write implicit object. Okay, implicit object. Here you can write reference type, and here you can write what is the scope. Okay, guys. So first I'm writing the request object. सांगा बरं request object कुठला आहे? सांगा ना, बोला तरी. रिक्वेस्ट ऑब्जेक्ट आता पण घेतला ना इंटरफेस, कुठला आहे सांगा. जावा एक्स, दोन्ही पण घेतो. जावा एक्स घेऊ किंवा जकार्ता घेऊ? जकार्ता घ्यायचा आता. ओके, so use either Jakarta or JavaX. So I will add the note point. Use Jakarta. Jakarta कुठला कशामधून आहे रे? जावा डबल ई जेडबल ई चेक कर, नोट पॉइंट मध्ये आहे इनिशियली. टॉमकॅट इन्स्टॉल करताना तुम्हाला सांगितलं मी ऑलरेडी. टॉमकॅट इन्स्टॉल करताना, ओके, त्यामुळे तुम्हाला मी एपीआय दिल्या होत्या. एपीआय दिला होता, एपीआय टॉमकॅट इन्स्टॉल करताना दिलाय का? कुठे? लाईफ सायकल, देन ॲप, टॉमकॅट कुठे? इम्प्लिसिट ऑब्जेक्ट हा लिहिला की डोंगराचा आहे बघ. कुठे ते कोणाकडे आहे का रे? मुली लिहिलेल्या असतात. हा JSP च घेऊन या लवकर, वेळ नका घालू. So in from Tomcat 10.x use Jakarta.servlet, and up to Tomcat 9.x use javax. This point I have already provided in the previous session, but now I'm going to write here reference name. Right here, I'm going to write here reference name. So that's what. So I should be able to write both. So I mentioned earlier here itself. So request, response, out, session. Let me add all the implicit object name: session, page, page context, application, config, and exception. So all these are 9 implicit objects. Count it: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right up? Fine. So what is this reference type? So either you can use Jakarta.servlet or you can use javax.servlet. So that's what. Now in my case I'm using Tomcat 10. In my case I'm using Tomcat 10. Okay, you can change it accordingly. Okay, so here I'm using Tomcat 10. Instead of using Tomcat 10, you can call reference type. Okay, so let me add Jakarta dot servlet. Okay, Jakarta dot servlet. HTTP servlet request. Okay, and its scope is with respect to that scope only. With respect to that scope only, request scope only. बरोबर है ना? Request kind processed, response sent. Its scope is gone. Scope is vanished. So Jakarta.servlet HTTP servlet response. If you are not aware about, look, so please add here interface. Okay, if you are not aware about all these, you can add here which is interface, which is abstract class. There is response scope only. Response scope. Next, out. So out is the object of JSP writer. Just now we learned, right? Okay. So let me add here javax. Jakarta.servlet JSP writer. So JSP writer is an abstract class. So in bracket let me write AC. You can write fully also. Okay. You can write fully if you wish. So here is page scope. So here I is nothing but what? Interface. Here is I is nothing but interface. Here is AC is nothing but a abstract class. Next, session scope. session scope. Okay, so let me add here Jakarta.servlet.http session. HTTP session is also an interface, and its scope is session scope. Next term, page. The way you work with the object, the way you work with the this, right? Yeah? Are you getting? The way you work with the this and object within the current class. So we have a page scope. We have a page scope. So let me add here java.lang.object. So for your understanding sakes, so what I did here. So this is JSP equivalent servlet class object. So actually मी ह्याला काय करतो, I'll keep in a single quotes, so you'll get the idea. The meaning is this. Generally we use this na. This dot variable name. This this for this is a current class reference, right? Similarly, I can use here page in my JSP. In my JSP, I can use page. So actually, space compact can you able to write up? Okay, JSP equivalent. What is the meaning of JES here? JSP equivalent servlet class object. So JSP page will go into page translation. Means JSP page will convert into servlet. Servlet page will be compiled and request will process and response will send back to browser. Right up. So in that case, JSP equivalent servlet class object. If you want to get in servlet, so you'll find there this or not huh? So if you want to work same feature in the JSP, you should use pager. So here I'll call page scope. Next, page context. So Jakarta.servlet.jsp.page context. Page context. So it is abstract class, and the scope is page itself. Page scope. Next, application. Application. Servlet context. So it is an interface. And its scope is web application scope. Means what are the variable, what are the value you keep in an application implicit object. Application implicit object. It can be accessed by all the web resource program. Session for that particular limited period of time, 30 minutes, 1 hour. But applications, once you deploy your application, okay, at that time it will be live. And once you close your server, yeah, the object will be destroyed from the memory. Right? Next up, config. So let me add here javax.servlet config. Solid config. And it is an interface. Its scope is page scope. Exception. Do I need to explain? Java.blank.throwaway. So it's a concrete class. Is it abstract class or is it interface? Huh? Check करून सांगा मला. I have the answer. Let me check. Confirm yourself. I'll write. What is the superclass for all the classes in exception? What is throwable? Check it. Shalom. Okay, guys, did you clear about this? We shall see these all one by one in example case. Now, if you understand all tags, if you understand all implicit object, then that's it. So let me add some more points for you. So here this, what is this here? This is object, na? Current class object. What is super? Superclass. Superclass object, and if you want to access superclass feature into subclass when they are in relationship, is a relationship, not has a. Is a relationship means inheritance, extending, implementing. Then I can able to call superclass data type. Sorry, data members and member functions. So has a directly object. Okay, but they are they are not in inheritance. So these super are two implicit objects of Java programming. So that's what I have not mentioned here. Interface. It's a concrete class. Object. This is also concrete class. But do I need to explain here once again? Do I need to explain once again? Ka? The day onwards, I'm shouting, I'm telling to you, object is a superclass for all the classes in Java. Object is a superclass for all the classes in Java. Right? Right or wrong? So that's what I have not mentioned intentionally here as a class C. Okay, like this here. Right? Or do I mention explicitly there? So these super are the implicit objects in Java programming. Okay. Okay, guys. You can ask this question to your one of your friend. Which question will ask? Can you please tell me? You can try. So this and super are the implicit objects of a Java programming. Similarly, आता मी one by one object घेतो बरं का. What is the meaning of page? Page means the object is visible. So let's come to the point one by one. Object is visible only in the current JSP program. Only in the current JSP program. Session. Session means, tell me, it is visible in the whole web application, na? Okay. Sessions, it is scope means, session scope means, okay. So let me remove this point. Session scope means the object is visible in the entire web application. In the entire web application. Please complete the programs, solid programs up to sessions, please, to understand this session. So session scope means the object visible in the entire web application, but specific to that browser window only. Right? Next, I'll go with the same application. What do you mean of application, guys? Application scope means whole, na? Okay, whole web application, different browser windows also. So application scope means object is visible or object is visible. If you're not happy with this visible, you can write here accessible also. Okay. For your understanding, you can access this object, you can make it the visibility. Object is visible or accessible there are some spelling mistake, guys. You can correct it. Okay, तुम्ही लिहून घ्या, मी सांगतो तुम्हाला. तुम्ही लिहून घ्या best. Okay, so that I can finish and you can also finish. I do not wish to stop this session meanwhile. So application scope means object visible in the entire web application. In the entire web application, irrespective of conditions. Irrespective of any conditions. You put any condition, that scope is visible. That scope is visible. means like session, it has the condition like browser window. Only one browser window, na? Here there is no condition. Number of browser, number of users, number of web resource programs. You can access the application scope. Next, yeah. Request. I do not wish to give the request scope. It's easy. Scope means the object is visible or object visible or accessible throughout the request cycle. Throughout the request cycle. So here I will add one concept of chaining. You might have heard about the solid chaining. Solid chaining. So let me add here solid chaining concept also. So you'll get idea also. So you can implement this same. So response object म्हणजे काय? So let me add the response object also. Response object means response scope means the object visible or accessible throughout the response cycle, including chaining. So till today, I think you are not reached up to the servlet chaining. What do you mean by servlet chaining? Now you give the request from the browser window to the specific servlet or maybe specific JSP. Okay, that first servlet or first JSP will accept that request, will process if it has request.get parameter. Okay, you are sending same request.get parameter to the second servlet or second JSP. Then again third servlet or third JSP, fourth servlet or fourth JSP. You can add number of requests, so number of intermediate servlets. We can add intermediate servlets and you can send the last response or all response to the browser window. You can send the last servlet response or last JSP response, or you can send first to fourth servlet or first to fourth JSP response all at once, or only fourth servlet or fourth JSP response only once. That is called as servlet chaining or JSP chaining. Okay. If more than one servlets are interacting with each others with respect to request and responses, with respect to request and responses, those are called as servlet chaining and JSP chaining. Okay. One Java class taking the object of another Java class, second to third, third to fourth, fourth to fifth. I can gather all the requests from browser window to first to second, second to third, third to fourth. Okay. I will give the direct fourth response to browser window. Otherwise, first response to browser window, send second to browser window, third, fourth, one by one also. Understood? Clear? So this is called as chaining. Okay, guys, fine. This is more than enough. I'll go with the now comments.